Hey everybody, it's Chris. Welcome back, or if you're a new viewer, welcome aboard. I've got some footage from a small plow day I have every year. It's just for me and my good friends, the Wernettes. They known them for a while now. They were customers of ours from way back, and of course they're Oliver collectors too, and enjoy coming to the farm to be able to use their tractors. And so they keep their tractors at my farm, and in exchange they help me out on the farm, and I help them fix their stuff. Everybody wins in the situation. And there's quite a few in the family, but the ones that are here today are Alan and his wife Julie, their son Philip, and their son Andrew, and then their German son, as they call him, Thomas, and his girlfriend Daria. And they call him her German son because he is from Germany. They have hosted exchange students over the years and have kept in contact with a lot of them, but Thomas has really enjoyed their company and pretty much become a member of their family. They've gone to Germany to visit him. He comes here to the U.S. once or twice a year to visit them, and just happened to be around when we were going to do this, and so he got to come out, and his girlfriend as well, and experienced driving some Oliver tractors and plows. And so we had beautiful weather, sunny skies, highs in the mid 70s. The ground was a bit dry, so you'll see, like right here in this part, I hit a rock and it tripped the bottom. Oh, nope, this is not that part, I don't think. But anyways, we did have some trouble with the plows getting into the ground in a few spots, just because it's so dry. You can see there's a lot of dust kicking up. This is the GoPro view. Borrowed my brother's GoPro and mounted on a fender, and from on the 2255, and then it got the 460 flex back plow behind it that has 5 bottoms. And then the reason they call it a flex back is it has a hitch on the back, and you can hook another plow, a semi-mount plow, on there, anywhere from 3 to 5 bottoms. So I have a 3 bottom on the back for a total of 8/16. There's usually a lot of rocks in this spot where we're at right now in the video. This is where the house was buried that I mentioned in one of my wheat harvest videos. And so there's this foundation rocks and just rocks that were dug up in the process that occasionally make a bottom trip. Oh, yep, here I am. That's a problem with cushion trip. It's great that it saves the shares, but you have to at least lift up, and usually back up, to get the bottom to trip back into place. Plowing with this plow is fun, but it also really makes me appreciate the automatic reset ones I have that just trip and go right back down, and you keep on going. And okay, this is the scene. I'll be getting off the tractor here in just a moment, and you'll see me. There was something hung up on the front bottom, and the dirt and trash wasn't wanting to flow, so I'm kicking it off there. About 5 or 6 years ago, it might have been more than that, but we plowed this field. Same thing, me and the Wernettes, just a fun afternoon of playing with our old Olivers. I was plowing with a 990 and my 4-bottom pipe plow, and at one point I noticed one of my coulters was missing, and it broke the shank right off. Must have hit a rock. We got plenty of those, and I have been keeping an eye out for that thing for years, and I was quite happy right here to find it hung up on the first bottom there, and got my coulter back. Even after being buried in the dirt all those years, the bearing's still free and turning. You can see where Phil is catching up with me here with his 2150 front wheel assist. We'll have more video of that. We didn't get a lot of video of Phil's tractor because unfortunately he had to take off for a wedding reception, so wasn't around too long. I just didn't get a lot of footage of him. And then there's also Andy on the 550, hooked up to one of my mounted 2-bottom plows, and all the tractors belong to the Wernettes other than the 2255 I'm driving, which is mine, and then all the plows are mine. Anyways, 550 started having some ignition troubles. Once it got good and warm, just wanted to sputter and not run the best, and so we finally gave up on that for the day. But he did get to make a few rounds, and we got some footage of that. It was running good at first. I'm thinking a condenser. Those things just don't last these days. But we'll have some video here in just a moment of everybody's tractors going around. I'm got just a little bit more here of this operator's view from behind. Plow will lift up, you'll be able to see it come around the corner. It kind of, each plow follows around because it's two plows and not one. Oh, there, another rock. Fortunately for Alan, he was running an automatic reset, so he was never having to stop. The rest of us were having to occasionally reset bottoms. Excuse me. And as I come up to the headland, you'll be able to see the plow steer itself around, come up. It's two separate plows, even though they're hooked together. And then we'll return you back to the sounds of these great Oliver tractors plowing the ground. This part I'm going to call the jiggle cam. I mounted my brother's GoPro on the very where the SMV sign mounts on the tail wheel of the back plow, so we can get a different angle here. And it wasn't the most solid position, so we get a little wiggle and jiggle out of it. I was really amazed that it didn't pick up the sound of the 2255 and just what was close to it. I've never used a GoPro until now. Been looking into getting one. This one's a Hero 3, so it's an older one. But I thought this angle was kind of neat. You can see the dual tail wheels of the 460 plow just ahead of the 565 3 bottom here. 2255 was doing a pretty nice job of pulling it. Some of the harder ground, the first couple of bottoms were wanting to ride up out of the soil, but we get up here. Of course, I hit a rock or two along the way. But this low area up ahead has some very nice, kind of muck. And we just start getting into it here after I reset this rock for this rock. This would be on one of the bottoms on the front plow. Lift up, back up. But anyways, this low area will grow some fantastic crops. I wish the whole farm was like that, but there's also times where, like this year with all the rain we had, it didn't grow much of anything except for weeds and a couple of ruts from trying to get through it with fertilizer spreaders and so on. You can see the soil getting darker, partially because of the moisture in the low area and partially because of the improvement in the soil. Even with as dry as it is, there's a little bit of clay in our ground, and so it makes it a lot harder, but it still breaks up nice when you plow it if you can get the plow in the ground. Now you can see on the back plow here, one of the bottoms tripped. I have to lift up and just back up a little bit so it can reset. These are all cushion trip bottoms. Doesn't take much. Sometimes if there's not dirt and weeds in the way, you can just lift up, they'll drop back into place and you can get going again without backing up. But most of the time I have to back up. Of course, if there was good soil moisture, some of these rocks probably wouldn't trip it. They'll move a little bit. The smaller ones will when there's moisture in the soil. But when it's dry like this, there ain't much give to them. So when you hit them, it trips the bottoms. You do a lot more tripping in this kind of weather. And it's also very abrasive on the plow shares. I was amazed how much they wore this day. It was definitely doing a better job of plowing at the beginning of the day than it was at the end, just because of the amount the shares wore from the abrasive soil that was so dry. I'm sure a new set of shares up front would have kept that front from wanting to climb out of the ground. They still had some life in them if the ground was moist, but in this stuff they just really needed to be replaced. But I wasn't going to stop and do that at this time. I got a couple spots I'm going to have to disc out to smooth back out, but we were having fun. It wasn't like I was plowing the whole farm this way. Yeah, you can see some of this better soil right in here. Even with the moisture in the low area, I'm still kicking up quite a bit of dust. I am pulling, and most of the time I was running second direct, but it would pull it in second over, which I think I do get up to second over right in here when you can see it's throwing the dirt pretty good. I'm trying to think, I think that's around 3.5, something like that. Speedometer ain't working right on this tractor. I was gonna use the GPS on my phone to double check my speed and totally forgot to. Here comes Andrew on his 550 here on the left. He's getting another angle. Thanks, Andy, for giving me some more film to work with. kind of hard to drive and film at the same time, and I've got some crooked furrows to show for it. But and then there's his mom Julie that was standing in the field. I think we just saw her go by, or she's coming up. There used to be an electric line right around right where I'm plowing now, just a little bit to the right. And a couple years back, the electric company said they're on a campaign to move the power lines out of fields and closer to the road where they're easier to service. And so they moved quite a bit out of my fields, and I was thrilled. It's so much easier to work when not having a pole sticking out in the middle of your field. Here we are in the headlands. This gives a better view of kind of what happens when you're turning. You see the front plow starts turning, and then the back one starts following it. I stop, or almost stop here, and shift up to 4th gear to make a little better time across the headlands. You can see how dusty stuff is where the ground has been worked up some. I disc the headlands ahead of time to give us a good headland mark to pick up and set down from, and also just to knock the weeds down and make it a little easier to walk around and see what we're doing. But coming up here, I'll turn back into the field and set down, and that'll be enough of me blabbing about it. We can go back to listening to tractors working, plowing, having a good time. Of course, it wouldn't be a plow day, hitting all those rocks without bringing up a couple big ones. Here's one. I had the backhoe down there and Here's one in the backhoe bucket, and then the second picture is another one we brought up, and nothing there to show comparison, but it ended up being bigger than this one in the backhoe bucket. That's all for this video. I really appreciate everybody that's watching, commenting, and liking, subscribing. You guys have really been helping me out great, getting this channel going, and appreciate everything you've done for me. We'll see you again in the next video. Thanks for watching.